Welcome to the Issues on IKD 106.1 FM. The Issues on IKD 106.1 FM every Thursdays is a time on radio where we talk about matters that concerns our health. These are times on radio where we talk about things that would concern not just your health, but health matters around the people, around our vicinity. So it's always important that every Thursdays like this, you join us on the issues where we talk about healthy matters. Health, like they say, is wealth, and that is why we have decided to partner with General Hospital Ikorodu to always ensure that we talk about matters that concerns our health. And special thanks to General Hospital Ikorodu, special thanks to the MD for always being there every time for us. Today again, we will be talking about another very, very important discussion. It will concern the women, it will concern the ladies, it will concern the female gender. But it's also important for you to listen up to this conversation as a man, because in a way or the other, you are either going to be a father soon, sometime soon, or you are already a father. You are going to be a husband to a woman, or you are already a husband to a woman out there. So the World Health Organization, WHO, has set aside a whole week, and this is how this has been happening for years. The essence for the World Health Organization setting aside the World Breastfeeding Week Day should be a time where people are aware, people are on a know of the importance of breastfeeding. So a whole week is set aside for this to create an awareness, and this has started since on Friday, 1st of August, and it will be ending today, 7th of August, to make 7 good days. Now, this is a very perfect way to end this year's World Breastfeeding Week. But before the World Breastfeeding Week ends today, let us also have a very strong understanding to the importance of breastfeeding. If you are a mother, a nursing mother at a time, you might want to listen to this conversation. If you are a mother still hoping to nurse a child later in future, it's important that you listen to the conversation this morning. When we say breastfeeding, how important is breastfeeding? When we talk about breastfeeding, what are the necessities in line with breastfeeding? All of these and more we will talk about today on the issues. I am Opayemi Adebambo. With us in the studio is a medical officer from General Hospital Ikorodu, a woman who sure knows her onions well and who has been within the medical space for years. I'm talking about Dr. Olakpade Abimbola, who is well seated in the studio this morning. Good morning, and thank you this morning for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you in the studio, Dr. Olakpade. So we are also marking the World Breastfeeding Week that has been set aside by the World Health Organization. And the reason for the week is not far-fetched. The essence is to create awareness to the general public, the importance of breastfeeding. So our conversation today, let's also have it to the point of creating the sustainable support system. Let's talk about a sustainable support system for women. Let's look at the realities to this. And during the course of this conversation, Dr. Olakpade, I also want you to help our listeners. The whole of Lagos can hear you. The good people of Ikorodu can hear your voice at a time like this. Let's see how we can clear some myths, some assumptions in the minds of nursing mothers and the general public. But to start with, Dr. Olakpade, please, I would like for you to say good morning to everyone out there listening.
Good morning, the people of Ikorodu. Good morning, people of Lagos State.
Thank you very much. So let's start with breastfeeding. When we hear breastfeeding, the first thing that comes to our mind is the act of a mother feeding the child with the use of her breast. Right? That is breastfeeding. But not all of us knows the importance of breastfeeding. So my first question to you, doctor, is how important is breastfeeding to a child?
Thank you very much for that question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, like you said, that's the act of feeding a child with the breast. And the good thing about it is that it's produced by nature, and once it's not something you have to buy, it's not something you have to start sourcing for. So the first benefit I'm going to mention is it's cheap.
It's cheap.
That's, in short, one of the biggest benefits, because if you compare it to the other substitutes you want to consider, because on an average, a child should be fed a minimum of 8 to 12 times a day. So the quantity required, by the time you compare a tin of such...
sorry to interject you there. Sorry to break you there. You said a child should be fed 8 to 9 times a day.
8 to 12 times.
8 to 12 times a day.
Yeah. So an interval of every 3 hours or every 2 hours. Even if the child is sleeping, you have to wake the child up.
Even if the child is sleeping,
Yes,
make sure you suck this
yes,
breast.
you have to wake the child up to feed the child.
Mm.
So if you now consider that a tin of whatever supplement substitutes you want to give,
Mm.
a child can finish a tin in about, in short, if the child is feeding well, in about a week. Compare that every week, and the advice is a child should be breastfed only breast milk for the first 6 months. So now imagine, but your breast milk, it's supply once the child empties it and the child sucks latches again, it starts being produced. The brain gets a memo that okay, it's time to feed again, and the body produces. So imagine it's free. So that's one of the biggest advantages. Then another advantage is that if we look at the components of the breast milk, they've done different studies on the breast milk. If you go through all, most people will say, the child needs water, the child needs protein, the child needs whatever. The breast milk contains all of this, even more that you can give.
The breast milk contains all.
Everything you can think of that the child needs. For one of the common things, people will say, the child is thirsty. That's very wrong.
I was going to ask.
That is very wrong because the breast milk itself contains about 80% of water. So every other thing that is now inside is within that 80%. So tell me, what other thing, what water do you now want to give the child again? You are just occupying the space that is meant for the breast milk. So then other things there's water, there are vitamins, proteins. They are what we call probiotics. These are things that, we use antibiotics if there's an infection. It prevents the child, it builds the child's immune system. So whatever you can think of that the child needs, the child has it. And the breast milk has it rather. So everything the child can possibly need for its development, for its growth, for fighting infections, the breast milk has it. So imagine, what else do you want? So that's another advantage. Another advantage is that it's been shown that this breast milk prevents some illnesses in children. It also helps to prevent things like diabetes even later on in the future.
Wow.
Obesity. So breast milk has a lot of advantage. That's to the baby that we've been talking so far. Okay, although the chip we've talked that regards affects the family too, but also for the mother. Between mother and child, breastfeeding stimulates or it encourages this bond. That time of imagine someone that you are feeding every time.
There is this bond between the mother and child
during that period. So that's another advantage. Another advantage is that it releases some hormones for the mother that helps her. When the woman delivers, or when she's pregnant, rather, let me start from there, the womb increases to like times 1,000 of its size.
Wow.
But after delivering, it starts reducing. But one of the things that helps it reduce back quickly to its normal size is also the hormones that are released when the mother is breastfeeding. So that's another advantage. It helps the woman to return back to a natural state. Another advantage to the mother is it prevents some cancers, like breast cancer, ovarian cancer. For the economy too, it helps. A child that is not falling sick, you're not having to buy thing every day. We all know what the financial whatever is saying right now. So it helps in terms of the financial burden on the family. It helps with the closeness, the mother, the baby is not falling sick today, falling sick tomorrow. So all in all, these are some of the advantages that breastfeeding has.
Thank you so much, Dr. Olakpade. I think we're starting on a very good note. I, for one, I can tell you that I have a lot of questions as regards this conversation because I'm curious to know some things, and I believe that those listening at home too might want to have one or two questions to ask. Please feel free to call us directly on the studio lines 0904-081-1061 or 0904-082-1061. When it is time, we will start taking in your calls. You can also send WhatsApp message to 0904-082-1061. We are talking about the importance of breastfeeding and at the same time creating a sustainable support system for women. I want us to briefly talk about, while you were doing all of this importance of breast milk, you brought about some myths that we usually hear, or should we say fallacious statements. I want to ask you, Dr. Olakpade, how true is the statement that, because some women will tell you, I don't want to breastfeed my child because my breast will fall, right? They tell you, I don't breastfeed because my breast will fall. How true is it that when you breastfeed a child, the breast will fall? Although there are other stories attached to that, but for that, let's clear the air on that. Is it true that breastfeeding is what brings about the fall of the breast? which is the reason to why some women don't want to breastfeed.
Thank you for that question.
Yes, ma'am.
You're correct. There are things like that, but it's wrong.
It's wrong.
It's a wrong notion that the breast will fall.
Mm.
Because okay, there are women that have not even started breastfeeding, that their breasts are already saggy. So it's not a matter of what the things that make up the breasts and what causes it to fall is not associated with breastfeeding. So breastfeeding doesn't make the breast fall. So that's the wrong thing.
I think I just got the answer that I wanted. I also saw reports that is a fallacious statement. With or without breastfeeding, the breast would still fall. Now, another thing, let's talk about where some people will tell you that, oh, feeding a child is far better off than breast milk. There is nothing extra to breast milk. So for you as a medical practitioner, people who believes that feeding the child with other kinds of milk, depending on the name, we can do promotions for those brands, is better off than breast milk. What do you have to say to such people?
Okay, I feel it's a misconception, and I'm not really sure where it originated from. Although I feel some is because of this modern day trying to, will I say, be fancy. But the truth of the matter is that there is no advantage of all these breast milk substitutes to breast milk. Breast milk remains number one. All these other substitutes are just even trying hard to mimic the components of the breast milk. There is nothing like the natural breast milk in almost every case. In every case, rather.
Dr. Olakbade, because a lot of people can hear you, some people will tell you that, do you know what I feed my child with? Do you know the kind of nutrient these things carry? Do you know how much? Are you saying there is no supplement that can be measured or compared to a breast milk?
There is no supplement. None.
All of them?
None
Wow.
can be compared to breast milk.
Wow.
Every other supplement is just trying. They are just trying. They can't, because even when they are trying to form their own products, they go through the components of breast milk and they try to mimic it. And unfortunately, there are some, because these are artificial, man-made, there are some chemicals that will be in this that some children even react to. We've had cases of some children developing some adverse reactions to some of the components of this. And unfortunately, some of these companies don't even list all their components. Then you now be wondering what exactly is this child reacting to. But I've never seen a case where a child develops an adverse reaction to the mother's breast milk. There is no substitute that can overcome, in short, can even stand at the same level with breast milk, not to now talk of even being a better option to breast milk.
If you're listening to us today on the issues, we are talking about breastfeeding of our children and how important this is. And helping us through that conversation is no other than Dr. Olakbade Abimbola from General Hospital Ikorodu. Another question, ma. There are situations and cases of some persons that, unfortunately, it might not be deliberate. Unfortunately, they cannot breastfeed a child to one reason or the other. But then the child have to go for this supplement. Can you help us know? Can you tell us what differentiates a child who was breastfed and a child who wasn't breastfed? Are there differences? Is it that, like the common saying, the Yorubas will say, "Omotoba moyon, omamo we dadaju," and what are some of the things to why is different, a child who was breastfed and a child who did not go through that process of breastfeeding?
Okay, thank you very much for that question.
Yes, ma'am.
When you put two children side by side and one was breastfed, one wasn't breastfed, at first glance you might not actually notice a difference.
There are no physical,
no physical
appearance
difference,
to show,
so to speak. But the thing is, for us, one of the things we call something medical history, that's the health of the child so far. So in some of the history you get from the family, you notice some difference. It's been shown children that are breastfed tend to be more healthy. One of the things is that, like I mentioned earlier when I was talking about the benefits of breastfeeding, about things like probiotics and all that. There are these probiotics in our digestive system. There are some things there that help with digestion that most babies don't have naturally, or they've not yet developed. But by the time they are breastfeeding, in the breast milk, all those things are present. It helps. Some of these children that are not breastfed, that are giving all these substitutes, they don't have them. over time, what happens is that you see the child comes down with some form of illness. They tend to come down with some petty, I won't call it petty, but some illnesses that ideally shouldn't keep making
occurring.
this child, so it becomes a recurrence. This child tends to come fall ill frequently. This person is coming. Another thing again is in terms of development.
Okay.
Usually there is a weight we expect for children per age. Most children that are breastfed, I don't think you, except there's another illness that is coming behind, there's other issues around the child. Most of them find them within the adequate age weight they should be for their age. Even then in school too, intelligence wise, they've shown studies that
they're always smarter.
Yes,
they come out smarter.
Yes, they are much smarter. Not just book wise, but even in terms of interactions and all of that. In terms of even, like I said, the bond within the mother. So that period of closeness too, you also see. So it might not be glaringly obvious, or some people say, this child is, no. By the time you go through the child's health, right, in terms of academics, in terms of the medical history, in terms of even interactions, there will be some salient differences that will say that, okay, this child is different. Most importantly for us is the health status. They don't have children that are fed on the substitute, that reserve, so to speak. It's not that present like in a child that is breastfed.
For those of you listening, you already heard that from Dr. Olakpade. It's very, very important. If you have the opportunity to breastfeed your child as a mother, please do well to breastfeed that child, because you cannot compare a child that was breastfed to a child that did not go through that act. Still talking as regards breastfeeding, I want to say thank you very much for doing justice to all of these questions. You make them more clearer. Now let's talk about how the breast milk is being generated. You just said something that is confusing me. You said that the breast milk carries almost every component. It carries the nutrition, it has the vitamin D and all of that. And I'm wondering, the rich feeds their child with the breast milk. The poor also feeds the child with the same breast milk.
Yes.
We cannot compare what this person eats to what this person eats. But then what they still give out is the same breast milk. How then is the breast milk generated? Is it by the meals, or it is just a natural thing that will come with or without eating good food?
Thank you very much for that question.
Yes.
Okay. Regarding the whether they're okay, let me start from the question of how it is produced.
Yes.
The simple way it's produced is, okay, they are already dogs. There's already a system in the breast.
Okay.
That is programmed to produce breast milk, but it doesn't start working until that stimulation, and the simple stimulation is the baby sucking on the breast. I always say that some people, okay, like let's example mothers babies that lost their mothers. They are situated, we call a wet nurse. That's a woman that is still in the childbearing age. That once the thing about breastfeeding is that once a woman is in a reproductive age, once there is that suckling reflex, that consistent suckling reflex, breast milk will come.
So a child could suck from another woman,
yes,
not necessarily the mother.
Yes,
wow,
that is of reproductive age group. So basically, once they start suckling, the brain sends a message, and it's now that message that is now received by the body that now produces the breast milk. Then regarding the issue of some people are rich and whatever, the basic thing, like, okay, there are some foods that say that produce, but it's just like basic things. The most important thing, especially for women that are breastfeeding, is the fact that they need to be well hydrated, meaning they need to take a lot of water, they need to take fluids. So whether you are rich or poor, of course, there's water. Whether you are rich or poor, there are foods that you can get, that you can take, that will produce the fluids. You don't need to get an imported food or whatever. There are some basic things you can eat, the simple fruits, vegetables, the things that are accessible around you. Once you eat that, once a woman is well nourished, the best of her, should I say, environment. Of course, women that are malnourished, but it goes beyond just eating. A rich woman can be malnourished if she's not eating the right set of foods she's supposed to eat. So whether a woman is rich, so far she's eating well, she's well nourished, she's taking enough water, she can produce breast milk. And once that sensation or the stimulation of the baby suckling on the breast is there, the breast milk will be produced.
Okay, let's then talk about another area. I told you there are a lot of questions that I personally have, and I would like to know all of these things. Now, why is it that in some cases they tell you that, oh, the breast milk is not coming out? This is not another mother. This is the biological mother who gave birth to that child. But we see that there are struggles. We are not seeing the breast milk. Maybe she needs. In fact, we used to hear that you need to drink pap water, omiogi. The more you drink pap water, why are there cases of a nursing mother not having the breast milk to breastfeed the child?
Thank you for that question.
Yes,
there are situations where a woman won't like it. First time women that are put into bed for the first time, they can have that challenge. But there are some reasons, such as earlier I was talking about the nourishment thing. If a woman is not feeding well, not that you are just taking pap, that notion is a bit incorrect.
Okay.
Because it's not just pap. Pap, just water and this thing. Is the woman getting the other nutrients she needs to get. So it's not just about pap. Some people be taking just pap. The other nutrients she has is not there. So the right set of nutrients, the balanced diet, basically nothing too special, so to speak. So if a woman is not well nourished, of course she might have some difficulty. Another thing that, like I said, if a baby is not suckling, some women by the time they start, like a woman that, let's say she had a cesarean section, even normal delivery, it's quite stressful. So the first time you put the baby to the breast, the child is not sucking, or the thing has not come out at that point. Like I said, it's that stimulation so there might be some time. So, but some people, by the time they put the baby to the breast the first time, they give up. They say, go back. It's not taking it.
And that's the end.
The end. And there's no how. The breast milk won't come if the breast is not being stimulated. So if the breast is not stimulated, where will the breast milk come from? So that's another issue. Another very important factor is the issue of stress. Especially for mothers that, let's say, they are living alone, nobody to help per se. A lot of the childbearing process is stressful. After delivery, the baby is crying, nobody to help. Stress is also a big factor.
Stress?
Yes, so it's another thing that hinders them hinders the breast milk from being produced. Another thing again is that, let's say, okay, you've started producing the breast milk, but the baby is not, there's what we call latch. That's how the baby is supposed to place the mouth on the breast. Okay. So if it's not being placed properly, breast milk to won't come out. And if perchance when you breastfeed the child doesn't empty, it's when it empties totally, that's another thing that will stimulate the brain that okay, there is need for more. So if that is also not there, that's another reason. So those are some of the things that can cause that the breast milk won't. But one of the most common factor I've come across so far seems to be the issue of stress.
Issue of stress.
Yeah, so most of them are not yet well rested, and they just keep drinking pap, and at the end of the day, the breast milk doesn't come. And unfortunately, when that happens, they just give up and move on to the so-called substitutes without giving the body the chance to recover.
For those of you listening at this time, stress is a major reason to why sometimes the breast milk might not be available for these babies. It's important that you avoid stress as much as possible, and then always ensure you take water regularly. That was said by our doctor, Dr. Olakpade Abimbola. Let's come to the angle of some of the things you've said before. I want us to take them one after the other and make very good clarification for the benefit of those listening before we come down to the phone lines. For those that might want to ask questions, let's talk about the duration of breastfeeding. To breastfeed a child, some will tell you, oh, during the time of our forefathers, Odun Meji, 2 years is what we have to use. So you must train your child. This happens when our grandmothers comes for Omugo. Is it Omugo? When they come for that thing, they'll tell you, oh, this is how we do it in our own family, 2 years. That's why your husband is very smart. It must be 2 years. Medically, with reality statements, what is the duration? How long should a mother breastfeed a child from day one till when?
For the breastfeeding, it said for the first 6 months.
6 months.
First 6 months.
Okay.
That's not my.
Okay.
For the first 6 months, the mother should do what we call exclusive breastfeeding. That means just breast milk, nothing else, no water, no agbo, nothing extra. Just breastfeeding for the first 6 months. So we believe in that first 6 months of the baby's life, the breast milk is giving 100% of whatever the child needs. Then after the first 6 months, we believe that's the remaining 6 months of the first year of the life of the child. That's when you start introducing some other supplementary feeds. So we believe then at least half of the child's food is being provided by the breast milk. So you still continue. Then you now go ahead again. Okay. So that's how I say, you know, when you say mothers are old school, they're actually quite correct. At least for 2 years. So for the next 1 year, that's the second year of the baby's life, the breast milk produces about 1/3 of the baby's nutrition. So then you have introduced like family diet, but the breast milk is still important. In short, with the I don't know if I'm entering on that question, but let me just put it here. Like today, on the theme of this year, is creating some sustainable support systems. Meaning, what the WHO is trying to do is that I'm trying to encourage mothers as long as they want to breastfeed. As long as they want to breastfeed.
There are no restrictions.
No restriction. There's really no time limit. So as long as you want to keep breastfeeding your child, provide a woman has the support to do so. But one of the most important period, of course, that's 6 months, just breast milk. The remaining 6 months of the first year, of course, continue 2 years to continue. As long as the woman wants to keep breastfeeding, she can.
It's not a case of, oh, this boy he sucks too much. He's always sucking and sucking. As long as you can breastfeed. Let's look at some issues with breastfeeding. These are some complaints, you know. Before you got to the studio this morning, I was just doing a little bit of research, looking at why women don't even like to breastfeed sometimes. Aside the fact that some will tell you, oh, I'm a businesswoman, I'm a career woman, and all of this, some will tell you that, you know, breastfeeding comes with bullying. Sometimes they tell you that, oh, when you try to breastfeed outside, they tell you, oh, look at how you are breastfeeding a child outside. Don't you know you're supposed to go inside? All of these talks and all that. I want to ask now that how best can a woman properly breastfeed? You are saying 9 to 12 times a day. But those 9 to 12 times, there are times the woman might want to go to work and all of that. Is breastfeeding supposed to be a public thing? Or it should always be inside? Or there are ways that a woman can you counsel these women? Can you advise them on, even if you want to breastfeed outside, this is how you should do it? Or don't breastfeed outside to avoid bullying. What do you have to say to this?
Okay. Like you said, the issue of the breast, like even funny enough, there was an issue this morning. A woman, 8 months old child, because she has to go back to work, she has stopped breastfeeding. That's not.
She stopped breastfeeding at 8 months.
Yes, but that now comes brings up the issue of the theme for this year, the support system. Agreed, a woman, the people of issue of decency, you can't be exposing yourself in public and stuff like that. Number one is, like, especially for people that have to go back to work, it's been encouraged that workplaces should provide a place. Number one, they should be giving women breastfeeding breaks, meaning like every 3 hours you can give this woman some minutes, let her go and breastfeed. But also provide a space where, like, just a corner, a
convenient environment,
that she can conveniently breastfeed her child. Another thing women can do, at least so far, many places don't have that. Another option, because we have babies that are small that we don't even want them to put them to breast directly yet. And that option you can do is to express the breast milk. That's to pump the breast milk in a container. Keep it in the fridge, not the freezer, like in a fridge. And
just to cool it?
Yes, just to cool it so that it preserves it. But you don't keep it for long. You preserve it. Like, let's say a woman that is going to work, in the morning she pumps, she puts it in the fridge, maybe at work or maybe at home if there's a caregiver. Then when the time comes, you just get like a bowl of warm water, put the breast milk, the quantity they want to give, and not that they put it on fire, just put it on so that it warms up and they give. So that's another option. If you can't breastfeed in public, you can express ahead of time. So whenever the time comes that you want to feed, you can just put it in a
feeding bottle.
No, thank you.
Okay.
we don't encourage feeding bottles.
Oh, really?
Yes, it is not.
Why not?
Because you know that teat, we call it the teat, that cover that they put in the child, that the child also. The issue of sterilization comes in. So a lot of people cleaning and all that, you're supposed to sterilize, in short, have multiple bottles if you really actually have to bottle feed, so that you're not there is a particular time you sterilize the bottle before you use. So but the best option is cup and spoon.
Cup and spoon?
Yeah, so that's what we recommend. So you use cup and spoon instead for the child. So I feel that's one thing that can help majorly, at least until more workplaces start producing or start creating spaces and time that is very okay for the woman to breastfeed, because most of them, like some institutions, if you are just getting there for like, there's a period where you can get your maternity leave, and even supposedly after this maternity leave you are still supposed to continue breastfeeding. So we need people that can also support. Like that, a woman is breastfeeding throughout. In the middle of the night, she's still breastfeeding. So if she can even breastfeed at night, then someone is there to assist. I mean, she has expressed ahead of time. Someone can help her to feed the child.
Feed the child.
So I think the support system will also help with some of these things. And bullying, that's quite funny, because why should you bully a woman? She's just carrying out the natural. So that's quite ignorant. So, but we're trying to create, like, will I say, counselors and all that can help mothers, that can help encourage them, advise them, and give them, come together and discuss to arrive at solutions that can help with whatever challenge each individual is facing.
Brilliantly said there. 0904 081 1061 will be the studio lines. Two more questions for you, Dr. Olakpade. I want to do a 2-in-1 question for the first, so that we can steal time very well. The first question from the 2-in-1 is, what happens to a child, or would anything even happen to a child that was breastfeed lesser than the years that you talked about, or a child that was breastfed more than maybe a case where you hear that this child is still sucking breast and is already becoming 3 years of age? Are there repercussions, are there side effects to that when a child is being breastfed beyond the time? And then the second, which is also a 2-in-1 to that question, is for children that decides that they are not going to scale through. It might be from the mother or even the child. Maybe after 6 months, just like the example you gave, 8 months. Maybe after 6 months or 8 months, they stop breastfeeding. What happens to children like that? Are there any after effects to not being breastfed properly or enough? You know, it's different from the first question of children that were not breastfed at all. This time around, they were breastfed, but not enough or over breastfed, if there's anything like that.
Thank you.
Yes,
I don't think there's anything like over. There can be anything like over breastfeeding. At any stage of breastfeeding, some people say, people say that omilokumbe, or something like that. But at every point, because these are things that have been programmed by God to produce this thing. So at every point, so far the child is being breastfed, the advantages. So there is nothing like
there are no disadvantages to breast milk.
No, to breast milk, no disadvantages. For the breastfeeding less, so in reality, there are of course issues that can hinder a woman from to keep breastfeeding. But at least if you can be true to that 6 months, at least. It's at least you've covered the child, at least to a large extent, the antibodies the things the child needs for growth. So while there might be no, will I say, so much difference, if a woman can at least be faithful to that 6 months, at least the child too is much better than a child that was not breastfed
at all.
Yeah, so whatever it is, at least it's still better. There might be no major differences, especially if you can stick to that 6 months at least. Yeah, so
it's still a win-win.
Yes, but the thing is just that what is the follow-up? We are giving up. You can't, due to circumstances, you stop breastfeeding. Let's say 6 months, 8 months, 1 year. What are you feeding the child then? Hope you are not now using highly processed foods, refined sugars. If you are not doing that, you are giving more of natural fruits, vegetables, not processed foods, not junk. I think you are still in good order.
All right, thank you so very much for that one. I'm hoping this will be my last question, Dr. Olakpade. You won't get tired of me. This is a conversation that is very interesting, and I believe people at home too are also learning. Looking at the theme for this year, if I'm not mistaken, this is what the World Health Organization has begun since 2010, a long time ago, talking about the World Breastfeeding Week. It's ending today, and the theme for this year is creating sustainable support system for women. Right. Looking at the support system, when you look at the agenda, or let's say Lagos State, for instance, 6 months maternity leave is approved for any standard organization. So a woman deserves a 6 months maternity leave. Now, for the men, they have 2 weeks paternity leave. which in most cases is not always recognized. But when you look at this approval of 2 weeks paternity leave for fathers, that is to say that the fathers also have a role to play.
Yes.
What is the role of a father when we use the word support system? What should a man be doing? Because I know when we started this conversation of breastfeeding, breast milk, some men will feel, oh, this conversation is not for me. You might even want to turn off the radio. Does a man have a role to play? And if yes, what are the roles of men in breastfeeding a child?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Men are very important. It should be very important after the mother, it's the father. Because let's say, for example, a woman that is breastfeeding now. Like I mentioned, that one of the biggest factors that hinders breast milk production is stress. We in most cases, especially okay, most times is the first child that most women come around for omugo.
Definitely true.
By the second child,
they feel that the mother should have been aware.
So at that point, now see a woman that already has a child or two, has a new baby now. No other person that is there to assist. Please, who is going to assist? Of course, it's the father. So the father has a very important role to play. The father, and the thing is that the father now is not caring only for the child. The father will also have to care for the mother. So if the mother is not well cared for, please, it's work done equals to zero. So they are important in the fact that they have to help in taking care of the mother. They have to help in reassuring, providing a support system, not just in terms of finance, physical, or whatever. And also in terms of the environment they create. Also, in times when, let's say, the woman needs to sleep, the story that, not story, what happens most times, the children are sleeping during the day, at night they
want to be
awake.
troublemakers.
So a woman that she felt she's doing some other things during the day, at night she now still has to wake up. One of the things the fathers they need to do, they need to help. They help in those fathers that are thoughtful. They help in at least relieving that burden for the woman. So they are very important. There is no way you can talk about breastfeeding and let's go. Not just because they don't have the breast, they also help in the whole process. Actually, very vital in order to encourage the mother. If anything that comes up, whatever the mother needs, checkups and stuff like that, they need to be there to help the woman.
So for every man out there listening at this time, be aware that yes, we know you don't have the breast milk to breastfeed that child, but there are other processes which you can be a part of. Stress is one of the major reasons to why women might not be able to breastfeed a child effectively as it should be. If you are there, in fact, if you would agree with me, Dr. Olapade, there are some emotional process a man can put a woman through, even if it is just rubbing the back of your wife. That will just bring out the stimuli and let the breast milk start pumping out. But please be there to ensure that you are always assisting her. Now let's talk about support system. Like we have said, the man have a role to play. Let's talk about the medical side, looking at health centers. The essence for this World Breastfeeding Week is to create awareness.
Yes.
And that is why you are also here.
Yes.
Looking at health centers, looking at general hospital, looking at medical spaces in Nigeria. Do you think you people are doing well enough in creating that awareness? Because aside for the husband helping, these women should also know medical facts about breastfeeding. Do you think the support system from the medical sector has been top-notch, or they still need to do more?
I'll say it's, or let me put it like, not to qualify it, but the support system is there. But unfortunately, what I'll say is that in maybe not just Nigeria, but we have this, will I say, poor health-seeking behavior. A woman that has issues with breastfeeding, her first point of call won't be to come to the hospital. The first point of call is to ask people around her. Before she will now think of coming to the hospital. Is it things are going on? Maybe the breast is not coming around, or she's having pain, or she's having bruises. That's when they'll remember the hospital. But they're like, this week, it was not just the pediatricians, the dietitians and all that. So they are all that system, they are counselors. So if you are having issues with with the breastfeeding, a woman can come to the hospital and she can always access care, either with her obstetricians. Usually when a woman puts to bed, they give a 6 weeks appointment that's when they come back for checkup. But you can always come at any point. If the woman has any issues, lay her complaints, and at any point she comes, there'll always be someone to speak to them. So there are counselors, there are the pediatricians, the obstetricians that you can meet at any point for any question you have. It's just that people don't utilize it. Let me use that. People underutilize it. So it's not as if they are not there. So, but people don't utilize, and if it's not being used properly, of course, it's not effective.
Definitely.
So that's the challenge.
So these things are made available, but people don't,
don't.
Utilize and take advantage of them. You've done well. You've attended to a lot of our questions, and I want to say thank you so very much for joining us in the studio this morning. Let's take this first message from our WhatsApp platform here. This person wants to know, Dr. Olakpade Abimbola, there's a direct message for you. What are some, I think you've said this before, but what are some of the things a nursing mother can eat to boost the breast milk? Maybe you should attend to this question. This person wants to know, are there particular meals? Oh, eat this one, eat that one to boost the breast milk. That's the question.
Okay. One thing, be well hydrated.
Okay.
It might not be only water, like things that are rich fruits, like watermelon, fruits like pap, but like I said, not just pap every time, but things that have a lot of fluid in them, they help. I've said oats help, green vegetables.
Vegetables?
Yeah, so they help. So mostly some nuts, vegetables, fruits that are rich in fluid, if they are good, they help.
0904 081 1061 or 0904 082 1061. Our conversation today on the issues is in line with the World Breastfeeding Week, and this has been made possible by the World Health Organization since way back 2010 up until now, ensuring that the proper awareness is being carried out to help mothers understand the importance of breastfeeding. And all through this conversation, Dr. Olakpade Abimbola, a medical officer from General Hospital Ikorodu, has been doing justice to all of these questions. Let me ask this question, maybe to wrap up the show this morning. We know that the normal standard, as it is always said, is always eat 3 times a day, the 3 square meal for adults. You've said it earlier the other time, at least a number of times to this time should be how you feed your child with breast milk. Can we make emphasis again? Can you tell us, for those that are just joining, how many times is it normal to breastfeed a child in a day? Because for adults, do 3 square meal, breakfast, lunch, and then dinner. Is this also applicable to a nursing mother? Breastfeed the child in the morning, wait till 12, breastfeed in the afternoon, wait till 6, breastfeed in the evening. Is this same or quite different?
Very different for children. Their demands are quite higher.
Okay.
So the minimum a woman can breastfeed a child is 8 times a day, and it can be as high as 12 times a day. So usually we
minimum
advise
of 8 times, maximum of 12 times.
Yes.
Or more.
Or more. It's just that some people will say, the child keeps feeding. But what we've realized that if you feed the child adequately per time, at least a minimum of 2 to 3 hours, the baby will sleep off. So we always advise you feed 3 hourly or 2 hourly. So if you are doing 2 hourly, you come up to about 12 times a day. If you are doing 3 hourly, you come back up to 8 times a day. And we always advise, even if the baby is sleeping, please tap the baby, wake the child up, and put to breast. So.
Shola is still here. The same person. The same person. Shola, I believe you are a woman. So Mrs. Shola or Shola is asking now that when you were talking about a child could even be breastfed by another woman, not necessarily the mother, depending on the condition.
Yes.
Are there side effects to this? This is what Shola wants to know.
No side effects. In fact, the woman is healthy. It's something that if there are some concerns about the person's health, can do some routine investigations ahead of time, like the HIV, hepatitis, and stuff like that. But if the woman is in good health and there's no side effects to that.
No side effects?
Yes, because it's the breast milk we need, and if the mother is not available, and the woman, the age range, the childbearing age range is available,
then it's a go-go.
Yeah, it's
Hello to you. Good morning. Thank you for calling us this morning. Thank you. Your name and where you're calling us from. Your name again, ma?
Mrs. Shonaya from Fulham.
Mrs. Shonaya, thank you very much. It's good to hear from you again. Go ahead.
What part today from? rejecting breast milk.
All right. Without. Okay.
Rejecting breast milk.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that one. That's another question there. She's asking that what causes children from rejecting, and I think that's true. We have children who reject breast milk. What causes that?
Sometimes there are different reasons for that, but sometimes it's not really as if the child is rejecting the breast milk.
Okay.
Earlier I mentioned something called latching.
Yes.
Right, the child is not properly positioned, so it's not comfortable. The mother is not comfortable. The child too is not comfortable.
The child was not rejecting the breast
Yeah,
milk.
so the child can't really get anything. So the child just puts the mouth away that no, I can't go through this stress. Like, nothing is coming out. So the child puts the mouth away. Another thing again is that there are some cases where, let's say a woman, she didn't express the breast, because when the breast milk is being produced for some time, it becomes and it's not being let out.
Yes.
It becomes, we call it forms some like stagnant, so it forms like some, I don't know how to use it without going technical, but it becomes, sometimes solidifies a bit.
Okay.
So basically it still comes out like the baby is not able to suck well. The baby is not able to latch well. So eventually the child keeps removing. So all in all, it has to do, we can do with your posturing or how frequently you are feeding the child. If you are not feeding the child as frequently for some reason, and when the baby puts the whatever to breast, it's not coming out as it should, the child just loses interest. Especially another thing is, especially people that do more of this breast milk supplement,
yes,
the child is used to just putting the mouth, like you just put it in the child's
so the
mouth.
positioning matters a lot.
And so the child is not willing. The child is used to just feeding the cup and spoon. The child is not willing to
go through the process of the
exactly.
breastfeeding. Let's take this other call. This might be the last call for today. Hello to you. Good morning.
Hello, Mr. Adebabo.
Good morning. Thank you very much for calling us.
Mr. Abiola, the talk.
Yes, Mr. Abiola. Do you have any question for our doctor guest?
How, because the people, all those parents, our mothers, the way they are their baby nowadays, that is why the problem comes to the baby. Either in the system or physical body. So, how to correct the system, the issue, the plan. So, I want to ask doctor how to take up the baby, either husband and wife. Are you getting?
We are trying to get you, but we are not.
So, how to take up the baby very well. Don't get anything like sickness in future, either physical body or internal.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I think to rephrase what he is asking now. This is his question. He's saying, in a case of a woman that is sick, all right, a woman that is not healthy, maybe there are one complications of the other, but both parents are willing to care for the child. Will the sickness affect the child because it is breast milk? So if a mother is sick of maybe typhoid, can that woman still keep breastfeeding the child? Won't the child also be affected? So he's looking at breastfeeding mother, a nursing mother who is sick or not too well.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for that question. Regarding that, okay, they are different. When you say sick, it captures a lot, so to speak. So there are some illnesses, like if it's an infection. In most cases, there is no sickness from the mother per se that gives an infection. The mother can still go ahead and feed, but they are still okay. Let's say, for example, HIV.
Oh, okay.
For a woman that is positive, the woman can still feed, but there are some things that needs to be put in place. The medications the baby needs to start. You understand? So except for, let's say, a woman that has like a breast cancer, of course she can't
exceptional
feed.
cases.
Yes, like a breast cancer, she can't feed. Or let's say there's an abscess, meaning there's an infection of the breast itself. But other than that, there is no, whether the woman is sick, so far she can breastfeed. The child, if it's something that is even, there is a risk, like all these viruses like I mentioned, so far there are things that can be put in place so that the mother doesn't transmit it to the baby. Yeah. So that's one of the importance of the antenatal care, so that the mother's health is being monitored, so that if there is anything, doctors will come in to help there. But apart from those things like the breast cancer that I said, there are no other illnesses, not absolute indication that the mother cannot breastfeed. So once the mother has done an antenatal, any illness like that might come up, the doctors are already aware. There are already things that are put in place to ensure that the mother doesn't transmit the illness to the child.
Thank you for joining us this morning, Dr. Olakpade
Thank you for having me.
Abimbola. In your words, your parting words, what you advise be to nursing mothers, intending nursing mothers, fathers, as well as intending fathers. What will your parting words be in commemoration of the World Breastfeeding Week? The theme for this year is creating sustainable support system for women. What do you have to say?
Okay, so I would just like to encourage mothers, intending mothers, and even the women that have mothers around them, even people that have mothers around them, try and encourage women to breastfeed their children. That's one of the cheapest, like we said, it's cheaper, and everything the child can need, the child has it. And also the responsibility of people around, not just the family members, not just the father, even colleagues at work, the management with which whatever association the woman works with, or organization the woman works with, to try and create an environment that is conducive for this woman, so that she can breastfeed and give the child the best nutrition she can offer. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much for your time this morning. And for those of you that has joined us today on the show, thank you so very much. Next week, Thursday, on the issues will be another time for us to talk health matters. But don't forget, the Lagos State government, just like every other state in Nigeria, takes seriously 6-month maternity leave. That will be for nursing mothers, and 2 weeks paternity leave for fathers. Take advantage of this. Ensure that you are always there for your wife, your woman, your mother, right, at a time like this. This is how far we can have it on the issues today. We have talked about all of the matters around breastfeeding. Next week, Thursday, will be another very good time. My name is Opeyemi Adebambo. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless Nigeria. God bless Lagos. God bless Ikorodu.